Hey y'all, it's Fee with Uncle B and Fee, back at it again for another Tuesday from 8 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. And as you can see this week, it's just me. Uncle B is off gallivanting somewhere around the world. Just kidding, he's not doing that. Not really sure where he's at, but I'm sure about this. We have something that we need to talk about today. We need to talk about compassion and understanding after this. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're a repeat offender, welcome back. And if you are new to this channel, welcome. Please, as always, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. It is so easy to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. So just do it. And then leave us some comments. Stop being stingy with the comments. How are we supposed to know what you guys are thinking if you're not saying it, right? Okay, anyways, getting off of that and getting on to the topic of the day. Compassion and understanding. So, here is what I am thinking, my thoughts behind that. I feel like today, men and women, let me just say this first. If you have paid attention to any of Uncle B and I's past shows, you'll see that Uncle B is always giving, of course, the perspective of men, and I always give the perspective of women. You know, our thoughts, feelings, actions, behaviors, whatever, right? The problem that I see in society as a whole is that we're having a hard time kind of bringing that all together. It's like men are so engulfed in what they feel and think, and women are doing the same thing, but it's like, both people, in order to make it work, need to bring that together. Like, you need to understand one another. So how are you going to be in a relationship if, as a man, you don't try to put yourself in a woman's shoes and understand why she's frustrated with you? You know, a woman could come home from work. She may have had a hard day, but you're acting like she needs to just button up her lips and just, you know, sit down and be quiet, or don't ask her anything, or whatever the case is. I mean, it doesn't have to be that. I'm just saying, you need to engage your woman and learn about what's going on, what her frustrations are. And the same with women. Like, you know, men have frustrations too in life. And I think that there is this misconception that men just have it together. Men are always cool, calm, and collected because men have not in this society been given the permission to cry, because they're supposed to be tough and strong. But I think that it's important that women allow men a safe space to be able to be that person, to kind of be vulnerable, because then he can become a better man for you once you actually know what's going on in his mind. It might be something that you guys can quickly solve. It just seems like people are just really struggling with bringing all of this together. It's like, it is so simple to me. Just communicate with one another. That is literally all you have to do, is communicate. But I'm gonna tell you something. I think that one of the issues that we have is the fact that I think at the heart of everything, it's really just one thing, and that's money. Because money lends itself to power. Power lends itself to an attitude change. That's where the problem is. So we see all these people here with all these different kinds of attitudes or attitude and problems or whatever. But the attitude problems come from a place of power. And you can't have power without having money. I know I just said it frontwards and now I'm saying it backwards because I want y'all to get that this is literally it. It's like, if we could just take some time to speak to one another and learn and find out, you know, what each other's, you know, weak spots are in life. Like, what are each other's challenges? You know, like, I'll just give you some scenarios. Like, let's say a man and woman live together in a house. The man comes home from a hard day's work. He's kind of tired and frustrated. As a woman, now, this might be kind of difficult if two people are coming home tired and frustrated. You got to find a way to sort of, I don't know, bring that together, because you guys aren't each other's enemy. Not technically, but more than likely, if you guys left the house and you were okay, and then you're coming home frustrated and tired, then there's a possibility that something happened out in the world that gave you those frustrations. So coming home and taking it out on each other is really not the thing to do. The best thing to do is to try to understand what happened during each other's day and just try to be open to one another. And I think that's what people have a hard time doing, because everybody wants to be listened to. Everybody wants to be heard and understood, but they don't want to do that for the other person. And that's where the compassion and understanding come into place. And this is the reason why I say this is such a big problem today. People are not communicating. If you communicate, you will get that. You will get from the other person, your partner, their perspective in life. And that's another thing. Like, when you're communicating, you have to communicate with complete honesty. Like, it just seems like today people are not completely, what the hell was I gonna say? People are not communicating in a very genuine and authentic way. People are saying things that they feel will help to keep them out of the doghouse, or they don't want to start up something and then it turned into some big deal. I'm like this. Let's go ahead and do it. Like, put your gloves on, get ready to fight. And this is what I mean by that. You have to be ready to fight for a solution, not fight just to be fighting for whoever is right. Whenever you start off a disagreement with one another, I know my thoughts are all over the place, right? It's just like a woman. Whenever you start off a conversation with somebody and you want to get something off of your chest, the best thing to do is to come from a place of solution orientedness. Because if you're doing it for that reason, chances are you won't be doing any jabs and any of these low blows. And it seems like that's what a lot of people do when they get in arguments. They start jabbing and low blowing because they don't want to hear what the other person has to say, because they don't like what the other person is saying about them. And that means that you have a problem with facing reality. And if you have a problem with facing reality, that means that your relationship is doomed, because a relationship cannot stay in the honeymoon stage for the rest of your life. It's going to be there for a minute and then it's going to go away. That's just the nature of relationships. So you got to start off in the beginning just being honest, communicating with a purpose for a solution. And that will help you to become more compassionate. That will help you to become more of an understanding person. Now, this is another part of this conversation that I think that needs to really kind of be addressed, right? I think that what happens too nowadays, just getting back to what I said originally about money, I think that what happens is that, and this is directed to the ladies, men have kind of stayed the same person from the beginning of time, right? Men have always just been expected to, go to work, bring home the money, make sure that their family is taken care of. That has really essentially not changed. The only thing that has changed are women. Women have changed because now that feminism has, taken hold of the entire country and the world, really, but definitely Western world. But since the whole inception of feminism, and it has gained strength over the years, women have gotten to a place in life now to where, we're just kind of like in this, we're living in this world where we're like, we really don't need men. But I think that what happens sometimes is that men tend to take that out on women. And this is why I think that that's unfair. So the people, I'll say the baby boomers were the movers and the shakers back in the 60s and the 70s, right? The baby boomers, they went out and they fought for civil rights. They fought for women's rights. They fought for, equal rights. They fought for all these different things. And then you have the Welfare Reform Act. So you have all of these different things that were happening right around the 60s and 70s. Now, whenever laws get passed, they don't change the landscape of the whole country immediately. It usually will take at least a generation or two for those changes to take effect. So what's happened is, now that, once the feminist movement was kind of pushed, it really kind of started in the 80s, that women were, in these jobs where they were, they're starting to perform in the same roles as men, right? And then in the 90s, it kind of got turned up a little bit. The women were like, oh no, we can do the same things as you. Excuse you. And then in the 2000s, women was just gone. They off to the races, black girl magic and all that, right? The problem with that is, on one hand, it's a good thing for us, because now we don't have to sit around and wait for a man, and we don't have to be at the mercy of a man, right? So it's kind of good in that way, but it's kind of bad because men feeling displaced or whatever, they don't understand that. And this is what I want everybody to understand, actually. It is not women's fault, especially women that are in, I'm going to say, the millennial age group. Millennials now are 40 and under. And it's this common misconception that, oh, you women wanted this and you wanted that. Well, now you got it. And now all of a sudden you're acting like this and acting like that. Like, because women are out here saying men need to be men, and, men are not doing the things that they should do. And guys are like, well, this is what you wanted. You got it. So go ahead and be good with it. The problem is, nobody that is 40 and under is responsible. Well, not even above 40 at some point. I mean, I'm over 40 now, but I'm like, I ain't responsible. I was born at a time where I saw the new coming into the whole, I guess you could say, taking over the, I don't know, becoming like a new ideology or whatever for America or something. I don't know how to put it, but I saw the transition getting ready to take place, but I was still witnessing the days of old. You know what I mean? Like the man and the woman still in their traditional roles. I still witnessed that. But because I witnessed that, it's like women that are in my age group, it's almost like I wouldn't say confused per se. Well, no, yeah, a lot of women are confused. Unless you have actually literally sat down and analyzed it like I have. I think women are really confused because we are thrust in a role where we are now forced to be or behave like men, because that's where society is pushing us. But we also remember the days of old. So most of the women that are asking men to step up to the plate and be a man and all this stuff are women that have some understanding of what a man's role used to be. And women still actually appreciate that kind of stuff. But I think that what happens is that men don't feel like women appreciate it because maybe they just hear women nagging all the time, or maybe the women are not being feminine enough for them and, allowing them to be the man and be masculine. So I don't know, you guys. I just feel like compassion and understanding about what men are going through and what women are going through is the only way that we are going to be able to start to get better. And I know I'm really just kind of talking about, like, I guess you could say, the consequences of what's been happening, but there's really no, there's not a solution, like a pill that you can take and fix everything. The solution is, the next time you have somebody in your life that you're dating, or even if it's someone you're dating now or you're married to, or whatever the case is, communication is key. Try to listen, especially women, listen with a solution-oriented kind of posture. Don't start bringing up stuff from back in the day that you didn't bring up today. Don't wait 2 years to bring up something that should have been addressed a long time ago. As soon as you see something, say something, like in that moment, so you guys can address it. And not just address it like, oh, you're a bad person, but address it like, hey, we need to find a solution for this. you just did X, Y, and Z. That way the guy sees immediately what he just did. You guys can have a real good conversation about it and just address that thing. Don't bring up something else. Stay on that one topic. Once you have completed that topic, then you can move on to something else. That's specifically to the ladies. Now to the guys, with women, try to be compassionate and understanding about the fact that women, even though women like being in a position where they are able to do things, we like that we can, spend our money and buy our own car and get our own place. Of course we like that. I mean, duh. But try to understand that does not mean that we don't want you to help us to still feel feminine and feel like a lady. Now, if a woman is not treating you right, or you feel like she's demanding or anything, say it immediately. That's one of the biggest issues that I see with men a lot of times, is that men will allow a woman to just go and go and go, being disrespectful or whatever, just having like a bad or nasty attitude. They'll let her take that on for so long, and then all of a sudden it becomes a problem. And which is essentially the same thing as the women, right? Because they're bringing up something from 2 years ago, but they're ready to go toe to toe with you, blow for blow. But with guys, you guys get frustrated and then you want to leave or shut down because it just gets to be too much. If a woman is disrespecting you, you have to let her know she is being disrespectful, and you have to stop rewarding bad behavior. And when I say that, what I mean is, if a woman is being disrespectful, don't just, let me let her cool off and then I'll come back later. She just disrespected you. Speak up. Same goes for women. He just disrespected you. Speak up. How are you guys gonna be in a successful long-term relationship if you're not speaking up to one another about areas where the other person can improve when they are relating to you, right? So that's a part of that compassion and understanding. You have to let the other person know how you feel and, how it can be possibly remedied, if you have a remedy for it, or maybe you guys just have to discuss it and see what kind of remedies you can come up with. But that's all I have for you today. Tune in next week. We will be coming back to you again live every Tuesday from 8 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. All right. So once again, thank you so much. Like, subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment. What did you think about what I said? What are your thoughts and feelings about that? Are there any areas you could see yourself improving? Or is there something that I might have missed? Let me know. Let Uncle B know. Please. All right? And thank you. And good night.